How's it going, everybody? And it's time for another Mr. Poestyle video. And look, it's the Running Man from Intellivision. You know why? You know why? It's the Intellivision Day. Happy birthday. It's Intellivision Day. 42nd birthday anniversary of the Mattel Intellivision. And that's why we are going to talk about world's smallest tiny arcade, Atari 2600. You thought it was going to be Intellivision. Well, yeah, no. It's the tiny arcade, world's smallest Atari 2600. And if you remember, or you probably don't, one of my very first videos, probably about a year ago, was about world's smallest. I got the Masters of the Universe, little tiny mini figures. Check that video out if you haven't. Very raw video, old video. I got this, obviously, because it's in my hands right now. And you know, I haven't tried it yet, but, you know, about 27 of my very favorite YouTubers have already got it and did videos on it. So I'll be the 28th. Seriously, though, a lot of people have covered this already. I just dropped it and it fell halfway across the room. But I was going to get it originally. It released, I believe, in Europe. And I was going to get it, and I didn't. And there were people saying, it's not coming to the U.S. Well, we knew it was coming to the U.S. And I believe it was around $20 from Target. I ordered it finally, even though I was going to get it, then I wasn't going to get it. Everybody seemed like they were covering it. And props to the Atari creep. He was the first one that I saw cover it that lives over here in the U.S., and then the No Square Gamer, I think, covered it, and Willie from Arcade USA, and there was a bunch of others, too. But I went ahead and got it, and I'll do a video on it. One thing that I will do different here, I've already seen these videos, like I said, and a lot of them aren't Atari 2600 ports of the game. And I have to question why they did that. I don't know if it was a licensing thing, a money thing, why they didn't just do the 2600 ports. Now, they did with Pac-Man, but the other ones, you know, Warlords and them. Tempest, as far as I know, was only a prototype that came out. There may have been a homebrew at some point. I don't think there was an official release, no, back in the day for the 2600. So, I'm not sure what all it is that they have on that little system that I just dropped halfway across the floor. But, and why they picked it to put it on there, I really don't know. 1 second, let me get it off the floor. And I'll try to remember to put a little video. I'm going to, you know, shoot video of this like everybody else did. And in the corner or wherever, maybe I'll put a little video of the original 2600 ports of those games as compared to what they put on here. Like I said, the bonus game, the 10th game, is Pac-Man 2600, which I love that version. It's the first one I played. We got it for Christmas in '82 with that game, along with several others that my parents bought for us. And we love that version of Pac-Man. I played it before I played the arcade version. So, the smallest fully functional desktop console game. And it says Centipede, Pong, Missile Command, Breakout, Asteroids, Combat, Warlords, Millipede, Tempest, and bonus game Pac-Man. So, let's get our handy dandy box cutter. Let's open this bad boy up. Well, it says right on it, it is a desktop console game. This is going to be something that's more for display, not to play, because I mean, that is a fully functional, tiny Atari 2600 joystick. Pardon me, that was a burp, in case you didn't know. It's kind of small. I got big hands. I'm not going to play this as my portable way to play Atari games. I've got several ways to do that already. You know, you can play the Atari collection on the Switch. I've got Flashback. This was a gift from Willie from Arcade USA, sent this to me. I actually had this one just before that, which was the newer version. It's the wood grain. Lots of fun. When I had my hospital stay in September, I took these with me so that I could play me some Atari 2600 games, you know, and there's SD card in this and these, so you can put more games on it aside from what's built in. This is the Blaze one. Very similar to the Flashback portables. The sound is pretty crappy on here, but still fun, and it looks like the 2600. That is the Blaze handheld. So, you know, this is how you do portable Atari 2600. That's what I'm trying to say. This will be fun to have, but it'll be great to be put on a shelf later. We open it up, collect them all. We got our little catalog. I may have gone through this when I did the Masters of the Universe there about a year ago, or almost a week ago. About a year ago. And it's got all the little toys that you can collect. You know, they do things like old board games and little handhelds and little pinballs and arcade units and little Hot Wheels racetracks. All kinds of things from our childhood. They got Dwight from The Office keychain that plays his quotes. Yep. I once had a Larry the Cable Guy cigarette lighter. I'm not a huge Larry the Cable Guy fan. He's alright. But the thing that I liked about it is when you flip the lid on that lighter, it said, "Get her done!" And it just kept going until you closed the lighter. So I bought that to be annoying at a family picnic. And it worked. People thought it was funny at first, and then they were pissed at me by the end of that picnic. Happy 4th of July. But it would just keep saying it until you close it. Get her done, get her done, get her done, get her... Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, maybe that's what I'm thinking about this Dwight thingy. Magic 8 Ball. Little Magic 8 Ball. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Tiny Viewmasters. Uno. Tiny Potato Head. Universal Monsters. Dungeons and Dragons. They got all kind of stuff. Hello Kitties. Garbage Pail Kids. A tiny Bob Ross. A little tiny cornhole. Monopoly. Little tiny cornhole. All kind of stuff like that. Let me pull this out. Maybe. Try to do it without destroying it. And here we go. They even got the wood grain living room, wood grain panel. And we had that at my house. Wood grain panel. My family, my mother was famous for taking pictures and not getting the film developed. So they took pictures for birthdays and Christmas and Easter, Halloween, little pumpkin carvings. They would take pictures. A lot of stuff didn't get developed. Now, for a while, they did have a Polaroid camera, so obviously those were developed instantly. This is what Polaroid was known for. And I'll put up a picture here. I don't have many. This might be the only one that I have of us playing Atari 2600. And you will see, when you're looking at the picture, on the left-hand side was me with the brown shirt and the stripes leaning on a footstool, or ottoman, if you're fancy, watching my brother that's 2 years older than me play Stampede on the Atari 2600. So I'll try to put that picture up here so you can take a look at it. And Stampede was my game. That was the very first video game that I ever owned. The Atari 2600 we got Christmas of '82. My brothers really pestered the hell out of my dad to get it. And he was all concerned with the burn-in on the television that his buddies at work told him about, and blah, blah, blah. Well, finally they got it for us. And even at one point, he got us a box of extra games, not extra, but free games from somebody at work that gave them to him, like football and home run and stuff like that. But that Christmas of '82, we got Stampede was my game. Pitfall was my oldest brother's game. Defender was my other older brother's game. My sister didn't really, she's older than all of us, she didn't really get a game for that system. They also bought Haunted House. My dad loves Halloween, so he thought he would like that. And it came with Pac-Man and Combat. I don't know if that was a special deal or what. We get Combat and Pac-Man with it. They bought that at Fisher's Big Wheel, a department store at the time. I don't know if that was just a Northeastern department store or not. It's long gone now. But that's where they bought it. That's what they told us, anyway. But, so, something like this is really cool. You got the rabbit ears. You'll see in the picture that I post that I've got the wood grain and the rabbit ears and the wooden television back in the day. This is a 4-switcher, which is what we had. And that red button is the starter menu button, I believe. But it's a 4-switcher. That was my first 4-switch Woody. We didn't have a carpet like that. We had a cream or coffee color carpet back in the day. But yeah, we had the rabbit ears, that's for sure. We didn't have cable and things like that for many, many years. So I'm trying to see if there's a way to open this without totally destroying everything. Probably not. Because like I said, it's probably going to go back in the box for display. I'd hate to ruin the wood grain. Actually, my parents just got rid of that wood paneling a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. They finally got the place drywalled, and you know, no more wood paneling in there. They're in their 70s now. They're doing home improvements, things for the house now that they're retired. I'm trying to see how to open this up. Let me pause here and open it. And there we go. There it is. It's a little TV, and you can angle it so that it's easier for you to look at. And there's your typical plastic tab. Pull it out so that the batteries make contact. Ah! Nice. There's our rabbit ears. They don't move. There's our big chunky RF switch, like back in the day. Not to scale, a little huge. It's a little plasticky looking, even though it is plastic, obviously. Be nice if they would have made it look a little more real, but whatever. It works. There are legs on the bottom. You can make it raise up. And also, boop. There's our Atari. There's our joystick. It's a little big and beefy compared to the console as well, but that's just so that you can actually, you hear that click? Yeah, it's clicky. Almost looks like the old original wireless, big fat chunky Atari 2600 joysticks from back in the day. But, alright, well, let's get this set up and play some of the games. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let me straighten the picture out. Here we go. Powering off, perfect. Power it back on. Let's see, this is gonna be rough. This little tiny joystick. And I can't even read that from here. How about that? Okay, so let's go to Centipede. And that's Centipede. And you can see it's not the 2600 port of these. It's not the arcade. It's something different. Is it the arcade? Maybe. Murdered. I should probably have all the lights out here, but I don't. Okay, Centipede, centerfold. What's next? Combat. Now, I've watched the other guys do this, and this is pretty neat. And we do have an options screen here. But this is the first time you can play, as far as I know, you can play combat one player because the computer will play against you. That is rough to see. That is hard to see. It's not just the camera, it's really bleach white. It's not playing too badly for a tiny, tiny joystick. I say that now. But this is combat. And it's nice to finally be able to play against the computer. Like I said, but this is not the 2600 port of the game, right? Wish you could see that better. Okay. Millipede. I mean, you can definitely tell right there that that is not the 2600. Come on now. Sit still. Alright, let's move on. Missile Command. I'm only putting it off to the side here because I want to hopefully put a little video up to the corner there of the actual 2600 ports and what I'm talking about. I only say that because people that buy this are probably going to be the people that had the 2600 back in the day. This is actually really nice. This plays nice. If I was a little bit closer. That's a fun version. But I mean, it's not the Missile Command we had on the 2600. Obviously. But the sounds are good, the video's good. Blah, say blah. But I really would rather have the 2600 version on there of the games because that's what I played. Pong, and there wasn't really an official Pong, right? That was Video Olympics on the 2600. It's Pong. There were several Pong and Pong clones in the day. Pretty slow. Like your mom. It's totally a retro thing for me to say. It's not insulting. In the 80s and 90s, we always talked about your mom specifically. It's just the way we rolled. But like I said, the Atari Creep is the first person in the U.S. that I watched a video on. I did watch a few UK gamers, finally, play this, mess around with this. And then later I watched Willie and No Swear Gamer, Phil the No Swear Gamer, talk about this, and a few others. Probably, like I said, probably about, in actuality, 5 to 7 people that I watch regularly had these already. Okay, this is too addicting. Tempest, this is the one that I do believe it was only a prototype that was released, never actually made. And that's definitely not something you would see on the 2600. Not. This looks like more of an arcade port. But yeah, we don't have a spinner here, so, you know. Yeah. It looks good. I mean, if you see it up close, it's getting washed out a bit. I should have turned off all the lights here. I'm an a-hole. But it looks good. And it actually plays decent with this little tiny joystick. What did I miss, guys? We got Tempest Warlords. And you'll see this is definitely not the 2600 port. It's a little fancier. Right? And this was a paddle game. And if you had 2 sets of paddles, which were 4 paddles, which we did, I think it was my one older brother's game, we played the hell out of Warlords. And if you ever watch Willie from Arcade USA, this is one of his and his wife Heidi's favorite games. Usually if you, on the 2600 version anyway, if you held the button, I think you caught the ball, the fireball. You could control it. Maybe that was probably just one of the gameplay modes. It's not even coming to me here. Warlords. Like I said, it looks good. It's just not the 2600 port. But you're probably, like I said, just going to set this up in your game room or something. Pac-Man. This is the 2600 port, right? Although we didn't have this title screen, obviously. But there it is. Booty, booty, ba-ba-da. Oop, I didn't even move. I got my arse handed to me. Again. I'm doing sucky, but this is Pac-Man. 2600 style. I wonder if they have that glitch where you can go back and forth through the top and bottom door, and then you just slide through the whole maze. I can't remember who in my family discovered that, but one of them did, and then you would slide the whole way down through. It's been so long since I've done it. Talking 39 years or somewhere about. That is Pac-Man. Did I miss anything? It just fell over. Asteroids. And you'll see this is not 2600 asteroids. Surprise, surprise. 2600 asteroids had colorful asteroids. They looked to me like different colored potato chips. Barbecued potato chips. I already did hyperspace. Whatever you want to call it there. But Asteroids is always a fun and addictive game. It's just hard to play when it's this tiny. Oh, well, shiznit. I still remember my dad's TV like this that you had seen in that picture was a 25-inch. That was, to us, was a huge screen TV. 25-inch Zenith. Zenith was awesome at the time. Was there anything else? Did I do Breakout already? Because I don't remember. I don't think I did. No. That is barely moving for me with this controller. Need some nice paddles. Whoops. Thank goodness it's kind of slow there. Centipede we did. Combat we did. Millipede we did. Missile Command. Pong. Tempest. Warlords. Pac-Man. Asteroids. Breakout. Blah, blah, blah. So that's it. I did them all, Paul. That is Tiny Arcade. Little television. So let's get the lights back on here. Yeah, there you go. That is the world's tiniest, the Tiny Arcade, the world's smallest. Little tiny baby. Atari 2600. You want to put it on top of your TV, do you? Put it on top. I don't care. Put it on the side. I don't care. Huh? Put it underneath the TV, huh? Old days, old school. Pull it out, play it. It's pretty neat. It's a display item. I'm going to tell you that. You're not going to play this on the go, I don't think, like you could easily with this if you were, say, in the hospital, riding a bus, Uber, Lyft, yellow taxi, your mom's car, where I play mine, your mom's bedroom. Pretty neat. I'm going to put it on display, wood panel and all, in my game room. And there's lots of other videos out there covering this. I just wanted to give it a different take. I wish this had something like an attract mode, like the old arcade games did, you know, so that you could hear them. They would play through maybe a demo and an introduction and be like, Dragon's Lair, so that they would catch your attention at the arcade and get you to come over. I wish it had something like that just for on display, where it would play 2600 ports of the game and just cycle through them. Even better, if there had been an SD card support on here, where you could put the games that you just wanted on there, because I would have had that first Christmas lineup of mine. I would have had Combat, which is on here, Pac-Man, I would have had Pitfall, Defender, Stampede, my very first video game that I ever owned, Haunted House. Was that it that first year? I think so. There's another video that I did months back, this past spring, about my first lineup of video games that we got for Christmas of '82 when I got my Atari 2600. But this is the 4-switcher Woody. That's what we had. That's what I have. It still works great, actually. I have it as a display unit. I use a 6 light to play on. I use my Retron 77 to play on. I have the Sears Arcade 2, the Atari 2800 from Japan that I play on. I also have the game module for the ColecoVision. I have 2 Atari 7800s that I play 2600. I have all kinds of ways. I have the adapter for the 5200. I love the 2600. It was my first love for video games. Second to that, which probably something that I play more now than 2600, is the NES. You see my new shirt? You see him? Kid Icarus should be called Kid Ridiculous, because that game was awesome. awesome. To me, it was like up there with Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, and Metroid. Kid Icarus doesn't get enough love. Actually, the ones that I did see them make later, or the one was on like 3DS or whatever, I wasn't real impressed with. I just want my original Pit and Kid Icarus back. Look at that shirt. Angel Land, baby. Kid Ridiculous. I already said that. When I was a kid, I didn't know anything about mythology. When I got that game, I was calling it Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus. Then my brother that's 4 years older than me, his buddy came over and he knew mythology and he's like, Kid Icarus. That's Icarus from mythologies and stuffs. But anyway, there was no train blasting through in the background. That's kind of become our thing now, right? Retro Arcade Music Man, DKOG73, the train in the background. Maybe I'll run a little train across the screen if it plays while I'm recording next time. I'm in my fancy studio, detached garage. You hear the train, pretty nice. You know, it's down over the cliff, across the road, over the river, in the next town. Train tracks, you can hear it. It just carries up over this hill, on the hillside. Anyway, what do you think of the Atari Tiny Arcade, the world's smallest? Are you going to get one? Are you going to add it to your collection? You know what I think would be really cool? If they kept moving with this. I'm calling you out, Tommy Tallarico. Let's get a world's smallest tiny Intellivision, because it's Intellivision Day. 42 years old, the Intellivision. And I'm covering Atari 2600. You'd probably never see a Nintendo one of these. But maybe, just maybe, it would be nice to have a collection of these where you had this one with the Intellivision, one with the ColecoVision. Maybe a Commodore 64 for them fellas out there that love that. Taking it to the 5200 or the Atari 8-bit might be a little too far. Probably wouldn't see an Odyssey 2 or a Fairchild or a Ballyastroarcade version. I'd take them all. I would take them all. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Will you get one of these babies? Or not? We'll see you on the next video, fellas, girls, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you. See you. Uh-oh, glitching. See you in the next video, guys. Oh, Nacho. Come here, Nacho. No biting. No bite. Ooh, no biting. Oh, Nacho, stop.